Hello YouTube, thanks for checking out the third tutorial in the series Java Fundamentals. Today we're going to look at objects and classes. Okay, objects and classes are part of object-oriented programming. We're going to have to understand this concept. Objects and classes are really fundamental. Well, yeah, fundamental to object-oriented programming. So, object-oriented programming, OOP, also known as OOP. This is a programming paradigm that is based on the concept of objects. Objects are structures of data that represent something in the real world. An object can be a noun, like person, place, animal, or thing, or a set of related actions. Objects have behaviors and states. So, for example, in the table below, you see an object as a cat. The state is the name of the cat, the breed of the cat, the color of the cat, etc. The behavior, sleeping, eating, playing, etc. So what is a class? This is a blueprint or template that is used in the creation of an object. Example, your computer is an object that was created from the class of computers. What is a method? A method is a behavior of an object. Objects can have many methods. In Java, all of the program's logic is written inside of methods. This is where the data is manipulated and the code is executed. So, remember how we looked at state and behavior? So, behavior would be like the method inside of the object called cat. The behavior, the methods inside of that object would be sleeping, eating, playing. Instance variables. Every object has its own unique set of variables. This is what makes one object of a class different or the same as another object from the same class. So instance variables can be like a unique attribute of a particular object. So remember, a class is like the template from which all the other objects come from. So the class of computers would produce different types of computers. One computer could produce an IBM computer, or it could produce a Lenovo or a HP. So the instance variable would be that piece of data inside of each class that makes one computer different from another. Like, for example, you would have an instance variable could be like the brand. One brand would be HP and another brand would be Dell, Lenovo, etc. So an instance variable would be like the state. It would be the state of the object. So it would be the name or breed or color. Okay, so let's look at some code. What this looks like in actual code. So let's switch to presentation view so you guys can see it better. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, this is the class of cat. See right here. When we're creating a class, it has to be a capital. It has to start with a capital letter. Okay, public class. I'm gonna explain what public means in a future tutorial. I'm also gonna explain what this means, package.company, in a future tutorial. But for right now, I just need you guys to understand what a class is and what an object is. Okay, so this is a cat. This is how you write the class of cat. And a cat has a state. It's gonna have a state or instance variables. So here are the instance variables. The cat has an age of 2. Remember we spoke about data types? So the 2 would be an integer. Could also be a character. Could also be a string. But I just decided to use integer. Doesn't matter. So the name of the cat, data type string, name, Miss Kitty Cat. So yeah, Miss Kitty Cat, Mrs. Kitty Cat actually. She got married and her last name's Cat and her first name's Kitty. Anyways, her gender, she's female. The color is black and white. So those are your instance variables. Now you have methods. Methods. These are the things that the cat can do, like the verbs. The verbs. The instance variables, you can think of them as nouns. So the methods would be the verbs, what the cat can do. So right here you have meow. The cat can meow. The cat can eat. See, eat. Cat can play, and the cat can sleep. It's a basic cat. Okay. So this is how you write a method. I'm gonna explain what public and void means in a future tutorial. But basically void is, it just means that this method is not gonna be returning any data to whatever called it. That might not make much sense right now, but it will in a future tutorial. But for now, just think of this as the verb that the object can carry out. This is the stuff that it does. And right here where it says write code here, this is where the programming logic comes in. So for example, for meow, you might have a situation like you access a sound file, some kind of MP3, and it will play the sound of a cat meowing or something to that extent. Eat, you'll probably have some kind of animation that is gonna trigger, it's gonna play, you know, whatever. Same with play, sleep. But we're not talking about that right now. I'm just trying to get you to understand what the method is. Okay, so basically when I said this is where the programming logic is written, this is where all the programming logic is actually written in Java. So you write it inside of a method, and then you call that method, it runs it. When it runs it, it can either pass the date its result from it, or it can just do something by itself. It can call another method, it can call another class, it can create another object. You can do anything inside of a method basically. Okay, so yeah, that's it. It's really straightforward. It's not that complex. It is actually very simple. So you have your instance variables right here, and you have your methods right here. You can think of it as you have your nouns and your verbs. That's one way of thinking of it. Okay, so let's create an object now. Let's create an object and access some data from it. So we have cat equals first cat new cat. Okay, so this is how you create an object from a class. The keyword new is what's used to tell the compiler that you're making a object from a class. So it's just the way you write it, new cat. a brand new cat is going to be created. Right here where you see the word cat on the outside or the beginning of the statement, this is what you call a reference data type. It's right there. Oops. Reference data type. Okay. Remember we spoke about primitive data types earlier? So a primitive data type would be like a int age equals 2. That's a primitive data type. That's a primitive data type. That is built in Java. Those are built in Java, primitive data types. The cat, no, the cat is a data type that we created. So it is this object. It is the data type that represents this object. So whenever you're calling a new object, whenever you're creating a new object, you have to specify the data type of that same object that you're creating, because you're gonna need, for whatever this object, can call it a variable. For this variable, you have to make sure you allocate enough memory on the system that this class will take up. So that is why you give it the data type of cat, so you know that whatever object is created has enough memory to handle everything that involves creating a cat. So that's reference data type. It's really simple. It's not complex. Primitive data types are a lot more complex. They're built in and they're fixed. Reference data types, they can be as big or as small as the object is. So, it's simple. Basically, if you're creating a new object and putting that object into a variable, you're gonna have to reference the original class. Simple. Okay. So now that we have a object called first cat, let's find out some stuff about the first cat, access some of its data. So system dot out dot println. Okay, the cat's name is concatenate first cat dot name. Okay, so right here, okay, you see that this IDE is showing all the instance variables: gender, age, color, name. It's also showing all the methods: eat, meow, play, sleep. It has some other data in it. These are built-in objects coming from superclasses that come above the class of cat. We'll get more into that later. But for now, let's stick with the basics. It's showing the instance variables: gender, age, color, name. It's also showing the methods: eat, meow, play, and sleep. So we want to find out what's the name of this particular cat. So do that. See if I can get more space here. Yeah. So now you see, this is a statement. This is a built-in method in Java to display data, what do you call it now, text to the screen. And we're gonna go deeply, more in depth about all of this stuff. System.out println. I'm gonna talk about that a little more in details. Don't get confused, just take my word for it. And also this stuff up here: public, static, void, main, string, args. I know it seems confusing at the beginning. That's the thing with Java. Everybody, whenever you teach Java, we always have to repeat the same thing. Don't worry about this yet. You know, we all have to say it because it's true. This is not the time to worry about it yet. If you're new to Java, this is the first time. Just take my word for it. This is the um, this is the method that is accessed by this is the first method that is accessed. This is what triggers everything in Java. This is where everything is called, and whatever is called can call something else, and so on. But main is where it all starts. So, and print out, I mean system out println is just a method that prints stuff to the command line. Okay, now that's been said, let's remove this so that this doesn't get confusing. This has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. Okay, so here you see new cat, first cat, whatever, blah blah blah. It's a reference data type right there. We're printing something out to the command line, system out println. The cat's name is first cat. This plus sign right here is just a way to what you call concatenating or concatenation. It is just pasting this variable onto this string. Simple concept. Just pasting the variable onto the string. Okay, so now I'm gonna compile this. So you can see what happens. Okay, there it says the cat's name is Miss Kitty Cat. Simple. So you created an object called first cat, and then you figured out what the name of the first cat is. So in this class of cat, this is written in, this is static right now, this doesn't change, but we can write something called a setter. So when you create an object, of cat, you can pass in the type of cat, the age of the cat, the name of the cat, the color, gender, and it will create a cat just like that, with that age, that name, that gender, everything. Yeah, or you don't have to do it when you're creating it. You can create a cat and it's just an empty cat with no name, no age, no nothing. So you can just make these empty like that. For example, can make those empty, and then after you've created the object, you can assign a name, an age, a gender after you've created. Or there's another way you can do it. You can assign them while it is being created, and we're gonna discuss that later. Probably the next 2 or 3 tutorials, all of this will be crystal clear. But yeah, for now, that's it. This is a class, and this is the object. These are the instance variables, and these are the methods. Okay. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Walter Webb, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.